Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we created this show for you because we wanted everybody with an invisible condition. We want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that they have a voice, they have a community, and they are not alone. Today, I have a guest who is amazing. Of course, I mean, come on. At age 13, Matt, our guest, was diagnosed with a spinal tumor, leading to a life-altering surgery, a year-long recovery, and a full torso cast. Like, can you imagine? Full torso, like in the movies. Like, I only seen that in the movies. Full torso cast. They told him that was it. That was his, like, he was going to be, emaciated and stuff. And he said, no, we're not doing that. He chose exercise over a lifetime in a brace and embarked on a lifelong dedication to fitness and well-being. Now he's 63 and he has had many years of experience in physical therapy, clinics and luxury spas, and currently blends his skill as a licensed massage therapist, which is really cool, and personal trainer in his own practice for the last 10 years. So he has authored several books, including Don't Sweat 60, which we'll talk about today, and chronicling his fitness journey and methodology. So this is going to be awesome. I actually am looking forward to this. Matt, good morning, sir. How you doing,
Hi.
man? Good morning.
Good morning. Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you, man. This is awesome. I'm so glad you're here and that we're going to get the message out of that about this, because honestly, there's a lot of people with invisible conditions that really feel like it's over. Once they get that diagnosis, it's over, and you're a proof that it is not over. Tell us when you first encountered the symptoms and stuff that you were having with that spinal tumor that kind of kicked all this off. What was going on there? What did that feel like for you?
Well, yeah, the pain was so much that I of course told my mother about that, and I went to 2 different doctors that misdiagnosed it. They just thought it was scoliosis. And this actually changed the diagnosis for scoliosis. Now it includes tumors.
Oh my God.
Because I just kept complaining about the pain. And my mother took me to the New York Hospital for special surgery. And the head of surgery, I was very, very fortunate. Thank God he was there, and he saw, no, that's not what's going on. And I remember one time, even after the operation, he brought about 50 interns into the room so he could teach them. And he must have published it well, because it changed the diagnosis. Like on WebMD, they say tumors in addition to congenital factors for scoliosis now.
Whoa. Okay. So you're a trailblazer.
Not
apparently.
Apparently.
Even if you didn't want to be or didn't think you were, apparently you are. You made WebMD, or somebody did. Yeah, so okay, I'm going to throw this out there to the audience, because we're at the beginning of the show, and I want people to be able to, if people are watching and want to, the people that are watching want to ask you a question or be in touch with you, we're gonna tackle that throughout the show. But if anybody else has ever experienced a scary, like, pediatric diagnosis, we don't need to hear the whole, we don't want to get specific if you don't want to get specific. But if you have a question for Matt, totally chime in. We'll have contact information. I think his contact information is on the show notes, and so you can go to the website and contact him there. And so anyway, I just want to get that out there. So if you have questions for him, you've got the next 45-ish, 50 minutes to
that'd be great.
To pick his brain, man. So pick away. So dealing with such a, I mean, that's a big deal. Like that's a big diagnosis, right? It's just such a young age. You were just a kid, that must have been insane. So can you talk about maybe the emotional, I mean, because I mean, kids are cool, man. Can you can you talk about like maybe the emotional and mental hurdles that you kind of had to get through during that time in that cast, man?
Yeah, that was, even they had me in the hospital for a full month.
Woo.
And so that added to it as well. And then when I did go back to school, yeah, the kids were brutal. They would throw rocks at me in the playground. They would, I remember trying to cool off on one of those old fashioned air conditioners we had in an old school in New York. And, a kid would walk up and push me off the thing. So it was, because the cast was so hot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So but it, again, it's interesting looking back retrospectively about how it made me. I know we're going to talk about this later, but it's amazing how it shapes you and forms you dealing with adversity. That's why I want to encourage people. And when I get those kind of responses from people, it means everything to me, because that's the most important thing, is that they see my experience and they realize that they can do this for themselves as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if they need help, that's what you're here for, right? You want to help, you want to offer help too. So, I mean, if people are, because your experience is so valuable to so many people that, if they're going through something similar, that's sometimes personal experience is the best,
I want them to realize, I just want them to realize too, it's normal to go through a wide range of emotions. I did just pretty much every emotion you could think of, a lot of anger, a lot of disbelief, frustration, that's normal. And so people need to not be too hard on themselves, because those are natural things in reaction to something like that. It's life-changing. And especially, so.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, totally natural. I mean, there's probably parents, my parents with my diagnosis too, I'm sure they kind of wrestled with God on that and was like, okay, what's the deal, man? What gives, and then you feel guilty because you're questioning God and you're questioning, everything. And then it's just, roller coaster is that it is. It's gotta be. When our son was a month old, he had to have emergency surgery, but it wasn't for anything super serious or rare. It got fixed. We moved on. Everything was cool. But during that time pre-surgery for about a week, we didn't know what was going on. And it was, we kind of felt the same thing. It was like, what is going on? And why won't anybody talk to us about what's going on?
I know. And that's definitely a fact. And it's funny, because when I was in the hospital at the worst stage in terms of pain, I remember feeling God's presence and how it comforted me. And I never, ever forgot that. And I put that in the book. I remember I could not sleep, and they brought me this, they kept giving me meds. And then the woman came in with this cup and she goes, well, I'm doing this now. I'm giving you this. This is the last resort. It's called a cherry bomb. And she gave me this pill. This pill was gigantic, but it put me out because I wasn't able to sleep.
What in the world? I'm almost scared to ask if you know what was in that cherry bomb. That's
probably better not to know.
No, probably shouldn't. Probably better if you don't know. That's terrifying. You're still here. That's the point. It didn't kill you. So it's you got some sleep. Oh man, you didn't have to do that more than once, did you? She didn't give you more than one.
It was hard because in the hospital they had me in a half cast. And
okay.
I remember one of the nurses was not very friendly, and she came in and she said, look, you pick a position and you're staying there all night. I'm not getting up and moving you again. So something, you get that combination of nice people and not so nice.
I'm not, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for amazing medical professionals, and most 99% of the nurses that I've seen in my many hospital visits and surgeries have been phenomenal. But I'm not going to lie, there's been a couple, there's always a couple, that you go, oh, thank God she's gone. So oh man. Well, okay, so probably most of our viewers are probably parents or maybe grandparents even themselves. So just from that perspective, like, how did your family cope with this? Like, what was obviously they must have been supportive, or were they, or like how was your family responding to all this?
Yeah, it was especially difficult for my mother because my dad had left when I was 10 and moved quite far. And so she was raising us, three of us, and she had lost two boys. She had already had two boys that died in 3 and 5. And my mother is an amazing person. I hope that my qualities come from her. I thank her for it, because she had to go to Boston and leave the other children there to take one of the boys to the only children's hospital that was close to New York. There was not one in New York. So my mother dedicated her life to making sure no parent would ever go through that again. And she got Long Island Jewish Hospital for Children built. She was the main factor. I remember her being on the news and everything else, but she just didn't want another mother to go through that again. So she had the hardest time.
Oh my God.
Trying to deal with that. Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
She's like, oh no, not again. That's what she said to herself. She said, oh no, not again. Yeah.
Right. Seriously. Well, so you're just,
Yeah.
so you're in like a long line of trailblazers, huh? You got your mom's getting hospitals built and you're getting diagnoses changed, and you got you got a family full of world changers here, man. That's awesome. Holy cow. I mean, I'm sure she wasn't, like the head of construction or anything, but I understand what you're saying. Like she was on the board. She was the head of the board, the trustees of the whole thing. And she was the one who got the investors. She pushed it. She she made it happen. But she was quite angry with me when I was talking to the doctor, the head of special surgery at the New York Hospital for Special Surgery, because he said, now we're going to put you in the brace. And after they took the cast off, and I said, no. And my mother said, who are you to argue with the head of surgery? And I said, I really don't mean to be disrespectful in any way. I won't do it. And there's got to be another way. And I just kept insisting. And we went back and forth. And then finally the doctor said, well, exercise is coming into favor in rehab circles. You can try it, but if it doesn't work, it's the brace for life. And when I think about it in retrospect, it's absolutely astounding that he would do that in our litigious society where people are getting suits often, that he would let a 13-year-old boy have an opportunity, to try it. I mean, that just seems like I thank God for that every day. I mean, that's just unbelievable to me. Right.
So I grabbed that opportunity and ran with it. I learned everything I could about exercise from age 13 on. And
what year was that? Like when you're 60, you said you're 63 now.
Yeah.
So that was
1973.
1973. So, oh my gosh. Okay. So it almost feels kind of weird that it hadn't even been that long. I mean, that was only 40 years ago or 45 years ago or whatever, but I don't know. That seems like that shouldn't have been that big of a deal. But oh my gosh. But you're right. We are living in a very litigious society, and everybody's afraid of being sued. So they don't want to be, just handing out, suggestions for people.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was amazing that he did that. But I did what I could. As I started to transform, people in school saw it. I needed a facility. I needed a gym. We had a big basement, but I didn't have the equipment or the money for it. So I started to tell people at school, I said, look, because they were all like, what? I can't believe how you changed. This is a miracle. And I said, listen, I can train you anytime you want for free. You're welcome to come. I'm starting a gym in my basement. I just need equipment. If you give me equipment, you can have it back anytime you want, but I just need that. And people just started coming and coming. I had so much equipment down there, and it worked. And we had kids from every different ethnicity. It was wonderful to see them all together. And even the head of PE thanked me. He said, you're getting these kids working out, and you've got every type of kid, white kid, black kids, Hispanic, and everybody's there. And they were all together as friends, and it was really great. And it helped me build a facility where I could keep improving as well.
That's amazing, man. So I mean, this might be a really obvious question, but it probably is. But what made you choose? I mean, what made you choose that path? Like what motivated you to choose fitness versus, I don't know. I'm just thinking, a 13-year-old, 14-year-old kid, like the doctor says this, and then you say, no, I'm going to do this instead. Like what was in your, what was your thought process there to tell them no, and I'm going to just do fitness for it instead?
Well, I really didn't have the answer, because I kept saying to him, there has to be another way. Yeah. I'm not going to do this. And again, my mother was livid at me. She never really is that. She's usually pretty quiet first. And then when he mentioned fitness as a possible option, then it just ignited that in me. But it was very much something that I would love. That I saw my father work out a lot. my uncle worked out a lot, and they took me to the gyms and talked to me about it and everything. So I think it was probably there, in my brain, like the seeds of it as well from them.
That's true. That could be true. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So, I mean, oh man, that's just my mind is still kind of blown a little bit about the fact that you just, because I mean, I'm the same way though. That's we are a special breed, us crazy people that have talked back to doctors,
Oh, your story, as soon as I met you, your story inspired me. It just shows how this works. Your story inspired me so incredibly. I still think about it. I think about you. I think about, just what you're doing, and it just makes me feel like I can do anything. See, you are having such an effect. And what's funny is a lot of times you don't even realize. Like, you probably didn't realize the effect you had on me. I've told people about you, countless people. I just have thought about it and thought, this should motivate you so much. Look what's possible. So I appreciate that. And again, I think it's a sovereign type of thing as well. It's
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had no idea. Yeah, that's and that's the beautiful thing. You don't know where your impact goes and how wide it is. So thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot, man. That's great. Because when it's your story, it doesn't seem significant. When I feel like that's sometimes, somebody has to come to you and say, no, that's cool. You should get the word out about that.
Yes, very much so.
So, yeah. And we're going to talk more about that in the second segment, because that's part we're going to lead into kind of your book. We've got an image of your book that I want to put up there so everybody can see it. And we'll talk about why you wrote that and where it came from and stuff. So, but let's break right now, and then we'll come back after the commercial, and we'll dive into a little bit more of that when we come back. Thank you for being here, Matt. We'll see everybody on the other side of the break.
Thanks for having me.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, it's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on A360 TV.
I gotta say this out loud. That last promo with Dawn, I could play that every break because I love listening to her accent. I just love talking to her. I just love watching her show and talking to her because she's got such a cool accent. Anyway, we're back. All right, focus, man. Come on. So basically, what you've done. We talked about a little bit of your story in the first segment, and basically what you've done is turned your personal journey and all the struggle that you went through into basically a lifelong dedication to fitness, right? Like, can you kind of, you're 63 now. That was when you were a teenager. Can you just kind of fill us in between with some of the milestones that maybe, that got you kind of where you are today?
Yeah, again, my love for fitness just kept growing. And I was very, very fortunate. Again, I thank God for the people that I met. I met a gentleman, a grad student at Arizona State, who had just come from Florida, working directly under Arthur Jones and Jim Flanagan, who was like his right-hand man. And they taught me the methods. So that changed my workout life more. And that's a lot of the book is bringing back that method. And then also I break it up into a home program too, but for the gym, doing that method. So I was very, very fortunate. When you're really into it and you're putting out that energy, you meet these people and you just keep growing and learning. And so I've been very fortunate for that, with that aspect of it, just staying in the field.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, if that's your passion, that's you're going to almost attract those people, yeah, as throughout your life, it's almost like they start finding you, so no, that's cool.
Yeah, and you keep learning and growing, and that's I've always was seeking that out. I did personal training at the Fitness Institute with Dr. Lance Dreyer, who has 2 PhDs in performance nutrition, is a former champion bodybuilder. I mean, I learned so much from him. I used to listen to his radio show and call him all the time. And then and I went there and worked for him. It was great. He was in Phoenix. So again, that was another big milestone, learning from him. And I'm looking to reconnect with him too. I just found his contact information, so I want to see what he's doing. Yeah,
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Oh man, that's so cool. I mean, reconnecting people with that's kind of fun, man. I had a reconnection story myself. I got to reconnect with my childhood, first couple surgeries when I was a baby neurosurgeon a few years ago, and it was phenomenal. So those are so fun, because you get to thank them for everything, and and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's awesome, man. And you're trying to find them again, huh?
Yeah, it's funny because my manager just he looked him up. I mentioned him and he looked him up before I even could and gave me his information. So I'm planning on contacting him right away. Yeah,
that's awesome. So, man, that's so cool. So in your info in your bio, you talk about luxury spas, and of course my wife read that and was like, "Ooh, luxury spas. That sounds cool. That's appealing, So she said that I needed to ask you how spas can be a tool to facilitate healing, because she wants to go to the spa. So let's go to.
No, that's great. I love the fact that the top spas are all about excellence, and they really focus on the well-being of the person. And, they'll even have some of them that I've worked for, in Enchantment in Sedona. It's usually rated the #1 spa in the world. They were wonderful. They spent so much money just doing feng shui. So when you walk in there, you feel so relaxed. They know what they're doing, and it's just great. Everything is designed for that factor. So if you go to a really good place, the way that they act, the spirit that they have will start to relax you right away. And the treatments really do work. I'm a firm believer in preventative medicine first. We do need, classical Western medicine. Thank God for it. It has, of course, its major place. But I think that we should do our best to help them also by, taking care of ourselves. And this is one big way to do it, because mentally it really relaxes you. It releases really helpful hormones, and endorphins, serotonin, just to name a couple. And the treatments will do that. You'll walk out feeling really relaxed, kind of having a natural high. It's very similar. I see it along with meditation and other, really good skills and practices that I teach in another one of my books, which focuses on that. So it's another part of that, just like massage therapy by itself can be like that as well. Yeah.
So I always heard about the runner's high or the exercise high, the endorphins and all that stuff. But you're saying that can come from that your body will experience that even doesn't that, you don't have to run a marathon to get that. You're saying you can.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's really important, because people may think that I have to run a marathon to get that. That's not true. Exercise will do that. So the same thing with other practices like yoga or meditation. These are wonderful practices that can elicit the same type of response. So, and I've worked with drug addicted people as well. And I try to get them to switch from that addiction to exercise, to just get hooked on that. and how good it feels and taking care of themselves and kind of putting that dedication that they had to a better cause and reason. And exercise works a lot. And they've done some fascinating studies on exercise and like depression, for instance. Berkeley did a landmark study where they had people who were clinically depressed, and they split them into two groups. And one took Zoloft and one exercised. And the Zoloft group and the exercise group started out the same. And then the Zoloft group dropped off. It stopped working as well. But the exercise group kept improving. So it's very, very hopeful for these type of things as well.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I don't remember where I heard it. I think we talked about it when we talked before the show last week or whatever it was. But you bring up Zoloft. That I don't remember who told me this, but I thought it was brilliant, and I say it all the time. You're not depressed because you have a Zoloft deficiency in your system. Okay, that's not the problem. It's drugs are not the answer. That was from the 80s, right? Just say no, right? Drugs are not the answer.
Just say no. There's a lot of truth there.
But it's true. Like Zoloft doesn't do you as much good as natural avenues of helping, like exercise and that. So,
and diet together with that food.
Yeah.
It's enormous the effect that food has on your mood, and just, managing stress and doing things to make you feel better that way, mentally and physically. They all work together as a triad, mind, body, spirit. Yeah, they all together.
Are there certain exercises that you've found that are more, being like the gym, like the guru that you are now? You're obviously, you're at a higher level than I am. So if I were to be standing before you and say, I want to get back in shape, or I want to, go to the gym, but I haven't been there ever. I don't think I've ever gone to a gym. What would be the first, like, to tiptoe me in there and get me started? What would be your first thing?
Well, the main thing is, wherever you're working out, at the gym or at home, is to start wherever you are, wherever your physical condition is, and not go beyond that. So the first thing to do if you're training someone well, and if people are looking for a good trainer, is they have to properly assess you, and they have to mention that they're going to do this. If they start at your level, everything will be fine, and they just slowly work you up. The other thing is, you don't necessarily have to go to a gym. Gyms are great if you want to do that, but you can get just as good a workout at home. And so you really tailor it for the person. There's some people that don't want to go to a gym. So I maybe they love being outside. So I'll say, oh, let's walk and hike and bike. And, so I try to tailor it also to the person. Some people are like, no, I'm not a gym guy, or no, I'm not a gym woman. So that's fine. So I'll teach them how. That's why I split the book into two sections, non-gym and gym workouts. So you really don't need a lot of equipment. You don't need to do anything fancy, but I try to find what people like. Similar when I plan diets for them, I give them the concept, but I want to match it for the person, because everybody's different in terms of what they want to do. And any one of those things will work. I've seen people lose tremendous amounts of weight just walking, and, getting moving. And they can always lead to more, maybe, or not, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I'm guessing it's a combination. It's not like, okay, go for a walk, but then come back and eat, a half gallon of ice cream. It's all about balance, man. So.
Yeah, because a trainer made a great quote. She said, "You can't out-train a bad diet." And it's interesting because the gentleman that I just did a podcast interview with in San Diego, he came to our event that we did 2 weeks ago there. My fitness event there for Food for the Hungry, and he knew Jack LaLanne, and they actually got into an argument. I took him to breakfast, and it was really fun hearing stories. And he's an amazing man. He's 83 years old, but his fitness age is 33. And he's really a neat guy. And Rico Caveglia is his name, and he knew Jack LaLanne. They did events together, and he said he got into a discussion with him one time, and Jack LaLanne said, "No, it's all about exercise. That's it." And he said, which surprised me, because Jack LaLanne he even said, if a man made it, like food-wise, don't eat it. So he was very much into diets. But at that particular point, he said that's what he really thought was the overwhelming factor. And Rico said, no, diet, I think, is really the most important, even though exercise is very important. So, and I agree. You ask a doctor about like diabetes or so many conditions that are running rampant today.
Yeah.
More diet related than anything else. Yeah.
So it's almost like, putting diesel in a gasoline powered car and wondering what went wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Remember C. Everett Koop? He said when he was in his tenure, he said that he believes 60% of all disease is diet related. And I've heard research physicians say it could be even that they think it's even higher.
I would not be surprised. That is not surprising to me. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, you know what? I'm gonna pop this book up here because we want to talk about that. I've got a picture of your book here. That's awesome. Whoever did the cover, kudos, by the way. That's really cool. I love that, man. If I saw that on the shelf, I would grab it and see what the heck it was about. So
yeah, I've been very fortunate because my manager is also just an incredible artist and he has great ideas. There's nothing he can't do. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. That is a great cover. So tell us about the book. What you said you mentioned just a minute ago that you kind of split. Is this the book you were talking about that you split into two?
Yes.
Pieces?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my life story in there in detail and what I went through and just interesting anecdotes and things about my journey. Okay. And then I also have the workouts for in-home and in the gym. And the most important thing is it starts with very much beginner exercises. So like the circuits for the home portion are very, very basic to start. Because you don't want people to be intimidated. You don't want them to get hurt, and you don't want them to get so sore that they don't want to do this anymore. So
start right.
And then, and then there's diet portions in there too, and some of the secrets that I've come up with of how to do large numbers of calisthenics like pull-ups.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Pull-ups. Okay. I got to ask though. You said on a phone call, or not a phone call, a Zoom call recently. How many you did some event? Did how many for charity or something? And you did how many pull-ups?
1,000.
1,000 pull-ups. Like chin above the bar, back down.
Full extension, good form.
1,000.
Yeah, I did it in an hour and a half. I want to keep whittling away at that. The world records are around an hour, so I'm looking to break that that's the one thing I like about getting older. It's better and better because as far as when you do stuff, it's a much bigger deal. As you get older, it's like he's how old? So again, it's about inspiring people. So
wow,
that's what's good about my age that way.
That's unbelievable. I'm sorry, I can't. I know somebody. I know a former. Well, you're never a former drill sergeant. Once you're a drill sergeant, you're always a drill sergeant in the Army. But she said, yeah, I get up in the morning and I think she's in her 60s as well. And she says, I do 200 push-ups before I do anything.
Good for her.
And I was like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. But she's amazing. And she could probably whoop me, man. She's.
Oh, those people are so inspiring. Yeah. And I want to get back to doing my push-ups again because I do them on my fists and I go flat down to the floor and then to full lockout. And my record is 425 in 19 minutes.
425 push-ups in 19 minutes?
Yeah. So
on your fists to full extension. And
full extension and flat down to the floor.
That would almost be, do you have videos of any of this? Like this would be unbelievable to just see.
Well, now that the technology is as it is, we're going to start really filming all of this. We filmed 1,000 pull-ups I did on Coronado Beach for Food for the Hungry 2 weeks ago. So now it's great with that they can do time lapse, so they can show every rep. Yeah. And we have LED timer, LED counter, so people can see. That's the way you get it official. Yeah.
That is unbelievable, man! Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Whoo, that's crazy. Well, I tell you what, we got a couple minutes left before we go to our last break. But do you have? I mean, obviously, with a book like this, with the books you've published, with the past, the history you've got in fitness, you've got to have some success stories. Do any out of them stand out that you'd like to talk about? Or
yes, the ones that stand out the most to me, a gentleman contacted me. He was from New York. And he was 26 years old, and he hurt his back badly, and he was planning suicide. And he lost his girlfriend, he lost his job, and he got the book. And he saw what I went through, and he said, if he can go through this, I can do it. So he emailed me, and I said, call me. So we spoke on the phone several times. and things like that. Another passion, I have a client I'm working with now who's learning to walk again. He's been in a wheelchair for 1.5 years, and he's astounding. I'm more inspired by him. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. His will and his attitude is always positive. And he's walking around, and his roommate, he's walking around, he's cooking in the kitchen, so it's like, I thank God for that. Lots of prayer and lots of hard work. Yeah,
man. So he was in a wheelchair. What? So he was in a wheelchair for something, and then through some of the stuff you helped him train. He's walking around.
Yes.
That's amazing. Holy,
it's wonderful.
That's cool stuff, man. Okay, everybody should order the book. Everybody should order the book right now. Where do you get the book?
Well, it's available on Amazon, but it's also available on the website, which is don'tsweat60.com.
Okay.
Well, it's available in both places.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I think, oh no. Well, I will have it. I had it. I don't have it. Let's see. It's don'tsweat60.com.
Yeah. And we're working on the site, so it's still in process. But it's getting done. It'll never be. You can work on them forever.
No. Yeah. I feel like the journey with a website is kind of like the journey with a book, right? You never feel like it's done, but you have to call it done at some point.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about a website is you can always do 2.0, right? You can launch it again, and
yeah, people are used to it.
So that's awesome. All right. Well, I'll pop that up there again when we come back from the break. I'm going to take that book down off of there real quick. And man, that story about the guy in the wheelchair just blows my mind, because I have an upcoming show with another person that talks about that, and it's like that's the kind of stuff that blows me away. Is okay, I lost 50 pounds. All right, that's great. But I got somebody out of a wheelchair. That's unbelievable. That's so cool.
Well, it's just, that's what it's all about to me. And I'm, grateful to be part of that. Thank God.
So cool. And I'm so thankful that we got that God connected us through a mutual friend, and that we were able to pull this together. I mean, this got pulled together kind of quick, honestly.
I know it did. And I'm very grateful for that as well. And
I was very surprised at how fast we got this done. So this has been awesome. But we're gonna go to one more break, and then in the last segment we're gonna talk about I think both of our kind of our favorite subject, which is hope. So we're gonna talk about that on the other side of the break. Let's do it. Let's go to the break, and then we'll see you here in just a minute.
Sounds great.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Cool stuff. I'm still, my mind is still reeling from that wheelchair story. I love that stuff. You know, I kind of think, you know, there's people out there that are so good at what they do. It's like, man, you kind of wish, you know, some people that, you know, you look back and go, man, if only that person had hooked up with this trainer or this person, you know, maybe they'd be still with us, or maybe they'd be walking around instead of in a wheelchair or whatever. You know, it's crazy. I know the timing is all, you know, all different, but oh man, I'm thinking through in my brain, I'm thinking, man, okay, I need to introduce Matt to this person and that person. And so but that's what it's all about, right? If anybody knows somebody that needs to be introduced to Matt, this is the time, man. Let's do it. And your contact info is your website is in the contact info, but we're going to put it right there. Also,
yeah, they can also, and then don'tsweat60@gmail.com too. There's an email on the website, but you can also catch me at don'tsweat60@gmail.com too.
At gmail.com. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, I'm gonna pop that up there again, and then I'd love to. I want to ask this question because I ask everybody at least this question. I have another one too, but you, Matt, through all of what you've been through and all what's happened in your life and what you've made the best out of and just rocked it. How do you on hard days find hope?
Well, it's number one thing to me is prayer. My relationship with God, constant prayer. So that's my lifeline. I mean, I owe him everything. And then I ask for the strength to do everything with what he's given me. So I want to be able to use my fullest potential. I keep asking for strength. I ask for hope. I directly will, ask for help with a certain mood or a certain day or a certain. That's the number one thing. That's my foundation. The other thing is, in one of the books I wrote, Celebration, I talk about practices that people can do, like positive self-talk, being aware of negative thoughts, kicking them out, not dwelling on them, and how to actually do those techniques. They're very, very important. And I think when I start, even before I do the practices, the first one is always counting your blessings. It's always, let's take stock of your situation, nice. Where you are, what you have, what you've been given, not what you don't have. Start with that. And then you can always ask for whatever you want. Of course, you want it to be according to your will. But it's like, that's the main thing. And then doing the practices. And the thing is so important. You have to keep moving forward from a human standpoint. You have to not stop. I think that's the biggest thing is, even if it's small steps, anything, just keep going. And you need to realize that these things are expected, adversity, whatever it's going to happen. And we shouldn't be surprised by them. And then just realize that happens and just keep going. And if you just keep going, that seems to be the most important factor for perseverance, which leads to hope. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna put a quote up here there was a guest on a show a few weeks ago that I keep this quote, readily available because I love it so much. I've survived 100% of my hard days so far. If you keep moving forward, you're still here, right? If you're still here and you're still fogging up a mirror, you're still breathing, you're still, right.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not too late.
No, and that's like, like John Maxwell, the speaker, said that your attitude determines your altitude. It really, and Stephen Covey said that 99% of our lives is not what happens to us, it's how we react. So I constantly say these things to myself over and over again, to constantly remind myself, because our natural tendency is to move to the negative. So we have to replace that and just keep saying things that are positive.
Well, it's kind of, it's funny that you say that. I love that you use the word replace, because people, in the fitness journey or fitness world, I hear a lot of people saying, cut this out, cut that out, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of, don't do that anymore. But it's almost like I have this visual of somebody just taking there's all these things with all these little pieces in these spots. And if you take something out, then you have to replace it with something, right? So if you take a bad habit out, you got to replace it with a good habit. Or if is that kind of how you work too? Like you can't just say eliminate everything. You've got to replace.
Oh, it's exactly.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, and you have to give people the tools. You have to give people the tools, because you have to be able to do that. When you replace the negative thoughts and the negative reactions, you keep doing it. Now they see brain research is showing that the brain will actually take different pathways. So it will rewire itself in that way, that it will move toward more positive reactions and thinking. So physically, it's being shown scientifically to work. Yeah, you have to put something there that's positive, that will lead you and your brain physically in the right direction. I agree totally.
And that's something, and you talk about, you help with that as well, right? It's not just about the physical, it's about the mental and the emotional as well. Right?
Yes, we talk. It's like there are a lot of people that have severe anxiety. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so many people suffer from severe anxiety in different forms. And it's stopping your mind from going there. And don't let the negative thoughts enter your mind like a computer program and just run you. Catch them, throw them out, and replace them with things that are positive. Again, reflecting on how the things that you do have that are positive, reflecting on your gifts, reflecting on what you have that you can do yourself, that you're talented in, and you just reassure yourself, and then your body and your brain will start to believe that, and again take different pathways to have that be your reflex instead of being negative, which is everyone's battle.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. Oh, I'm gonna pop this up on the screen, because we've got a question that I wanted to throw out there to you. Did the tumor ever regrow, or did the fitness activity keep the tumor kind of at bay, away permanently?
It's an interesting question. I asked the doctor when I was leaving the hospital after I had seen him for a checkup, is this mean I'm more likely to it? He said, not necessarily. I guess tumors are pretty normal. A lot of people have like growths. This one was benign. So I was grateful it wasn't cancer, thank God. But no, it hadn't come back. I haven't had anything like that since. I don't know if the exercise in my diet kept that from happening. It's possible, because maintaining a very good diet, which I have consistently over the years, and exercising as well consistently, has probably made a big difference, I'm sure. Yeah,
I can't imagine it's done it. Yeah, it hasn't done it any harm, of course. Exercise can't, it's always a good thing, I would think. So,
yes.
So if anybody's out there that is, well, let me ask you this first. Do you have any upcoming projects or initiatives or anything that you want to get the word out about? Anything coming up?
Oh, we're doing another, it's interesting because you're in Colorado Springs, so it's helpful. We're doing another fitness event. This one's for Christmas Unlimited, a very good organization that we want to try to raise money and awareness for. That's going to be December 2nd. It's the Santa, they have a 15K bike ride and a 5K run. And that's going to be here in Colorado Springs. So cool. I'll be there doing 1,000 pull-ups, and There'll be all kinds of fun things going on for everybody, and there'll be all kinds of Santas. They have this one guy that rides on top of his bike. He stands on it, and we saw him at a news conference. Yeah, so it's really going to be fun. There'll be music and things like that there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Well, I might have to come just to see you do 1,000 pull-ups. That's
well, that would be awesome. I would love it.
I can set the time lapse up on my phone and just watch. That's
that would be an honor. Thank you.
That'd be so cool. So, if anybody out there is wondering, excuse me, wondering if okay, we haven't been to the doctor yet, or they're giving us mixed information, or if wondering if they're dealing with a tumor or what's going on, what kind of resources or books or tools or anything would you recommend them pursue to kind of get to the bottom of that?
Well, self-education is so important, but I would also get more than one opinion.
Yes.
Check with different people, because I know I was misdiagnosed twice. So it's, it depends. So, but I always tell people that I would look to always get multiple opinions, but also it's really good to be your own advocate and be educated.
Yes.
I think we all need to learn about our health, about disease. And there's so much good information on the internet, and just look for solid research that backs things up, because you have to separate that from anecdotal evidence, which sometimes people will say something. It could be true, but it might not be. So research is really handy that way in terms of separating out the variables of what could cause something and educating us. Yeah, so that's important, both of those things.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Well, one more time, I'm going to put this website up here, and so that's the place to get the book. That is a place to be able to reach out to you, right? They can email you from there. And then the other one is don't sweat 60@gmail.com is the email,
yes,
right?
People are welcome to ask questions. If they have questions for me, sure. I'll absolutely be available.
Awesome. And if anybody is in Colorado Springs, December, what was it?
2nd.
What was the event? December 2nd?
December 2nd. Yeah, it's the Santa. It's a Santa run and bike that's going to be in town. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so if anybody finds themselves, if anybody finds themselves in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in about a week and a half, they could meet you in person and say hello. So that would be
be great. I'd love it.
Yeah. So yeah, any last minute thing you want to get out there? Any last minute advice or anything you want to get out there before we wrap up?
I just want people to realize, in terms of aging, it's two things. It's your attitude toward aging, what you believe is possible, and I want them to have a more infinite view of that. That you can do a lot more than you realize. And people tend to get an attitude about aging where, oh, it's over, I'm old. I don't want people to feel that way. Then the second thing is to know how to do it properly, because you just start slow and you work up slowly, and the body will just keep adapting and keep getting stronger. Just don't give it too much too soon, and it'll just be a straight journey forward and straight up. So I want to encourage people in that way.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Matt, thank you for being here. I am so grateful that we were connected. And thank you for with all the, I know we had a little bit of technical difficulty at the beginning here that nobody else saw, but I'm so glad we got it. But thank you so much. I'm so glad that we got to do this.
Oh, thank you too. I'm a big fan, and I'm grateful you had me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon. All right. Don't stick around. Don't go too far.
Take care.
All right. All right. Everybody, go check out that book. That's going to be an amazing book. I can't wait for you guys to check that out. And follow, subscribe. If you have a favorite episode, grab it, share it. If it's your favorite episode, it's probably somebody else's too. So they'll love that too. Next show, Stephanie Samos, which you probably might remember was on with Zach Clayton with One Hope Wine. She is actually going to be talking about pandas or pans, which is, it's not the cuddly kind of panda. Don't get confused. It's not that great. It's going to be fascinating. It's a condition that I had never heard of before, but she's got an amazing story that you are definitely going to want to check out. So join us Friday, November 24th for that show. And I will look forward to seeing you there. Until then, have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.